10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Your go
4,
for APU shutdown on time.
2, 1. Liftoff.
Go and throttle up.
This is Escape Pod, part of the Outbreak Podcasting Network. Visit our website at outbreakpodcast.com. And now here's your hosts, Tony Brown and David Anthony.
I don't ever listen to what we're saying.
Thank you for joining us in this episode of Escape Pod. I'm David Anthony.
And I'm the guy that doesn't like to listen to himself after we record an episode.
That's Tony Brown.
I'm Deandra.
That's Deandra Buskill. I like it. So, why am I so hyper? Because we are freaking out from Game of Thrones series finale.
I don't like it. I like some of it because technically
Yes.
I was right on my pick who was sitting on the throne.
Well,
No, you
technically
weren't.
you were
Not
right. No.
not just that throne, but a throne.
Well, maybe
Okay,
a
A throne. We'll give you that. I'll give you that.
So I get like 10% points.
All right. So, gosh, where to begin?
A long, long time ago.
Yeah. So I guess we start with the aftermath and the walk through the city.
Yeah, Tyrion looked pissed.
Devastated.
Devastated and pissed.
Just like in a dark hole of what the fuck happens now.
Just, I mean, clearly in shock from that much carnage. Just so many dead people, bodies.
Yeah, from the woman that he loved and supported and
Yeah.
pledged death to. And
He did admit in this episode that he did love her.
Yep.
I don't know if it was a romantical love,
I don't necessarily think so, but
but I think it interfered with his decision making possibly.
yep.
And he came to full realization of what those decisions led to this episode. Almost said today.
Yeah.
Man, just, whew.
Yeah. Well, and Tony made the comment when the credits started, the show started. He's like, well, "What's Lena Headey's name in there? What's Nikolai's name doing on there?" And we
yeah, I
found
was
out-
like, why is Jamie and Cersei's actors' names still in
Oh,
there? I was like, that's kind of messed up.
I figured they just showed everybody that was.
"Yeah,
I guess I didn't pay enough attention. I did notice that King's Landing was burned in the opening credits.
oh yeah."
But yeah, that was the first thing I noticed, and I was like, why are they in the credits? They're gone. And then, of
Nope.
course, once he walked past the unfortunate burn dude, that it was just in a state of shock, that he was
Oh,
just
God,
like,
that was
I'm
terrible.
going to walk. Where am I walking to? I don't
He was, yeah.
I don't know. Am I in hell? Did I die? Is this afterlife? Like, this can't be fucking real.
So Tyrion goes and he finds Jamie and Cersei.
Yep.
And
Luckily, he only had a few bricks.
Yeah,
Convenient.
right. Convenient, yeah. And Jamie's hand sticking out.
Yep.
I don't know about you guys, but the whole time he was digging them out and looking at them, and I kept thinking that Cersei would be alive. I kept thinking that for a half second, Cersei would be not necessarily like in any means good health,
Right.
but that she would be clinging to life, and that Tyrion would have to put her out of her misery, and that the younger brother prophecy would still be fulfilled.
And that would have been good.
Shit.
could've
But
done
they
that.
didn't do it.
Nope.
They had all the opportunity to do it, and they
Yeah.
didn't do it. And I was slightly disappointed by it. But I just kept thinking that she would, at the last second, gasp and ask Tyrion to put her out.
Yeah, like, kill me.
Yeah.
And then be like, brick to the skull.
And maybe even forgive him, or something. But
That's
they
not-
didn't
no.
do it.
See, that's where my questioning of this
Spoilers.
episode started. Like, why did Tyrion go that way? Why didn't he go and see if the boat was gone? Because that was his concern. Did they make it? So
I guess maybe he didn't trust whoever was
Or maybe you just realized that it was just, there was no way they could have made it out.
and wanted to go
because
find
how
him.
fast
Yeah.
the attacks were.
Okay. But yeah, that was my first question. I was like, why did he go that way? It just
Well, I
made
guess-
it way too obvious
He's
that
little.
he was
He
going to
can
find
make it
him.
true.
Yeah, and he could,
I guess it was kind of a long walk around for them little footsteps
Oh
to
my
get to the boat.
goodness.
Sorry, people of small
So
stature.
he
I'm
sees
a
his
dick.
dead brother and sister, and he decides to go confront Daenerys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then I guess it cuts to Jon making his way to Daenerys, right?
Yeah, and, well, all right. So, John, when he goes through the town, runs into Grey Worm, who is still,
Still being a dick.
Yeah.
yeah,
And he's saying all these people are lined up for execution, and John's like, it's over, dude. Like,
Yeah, what are you doing?
End it now. Just go about your business. And Grey
And he's
Worm's
all
like, no,
yeah, he's
these are by the Queen's orders, and I think that's
when John started to
another
realize
step
this
of
isn't
John going, what the hell's wrong with my auntie lover? This
Yeah.
is wrong.
So then comes my favorite scene of the whole episode.
Yeah.
John's walking towards Daenerys, and he walks
Yeah.
up the stairs, and Drogon lands behind her.
Yeah.
And she's walking out, and he flicks out his wings, and it looks like it's Dany's
So
wings.
visually
That
awesome.
shot gave me goosebumps. I loved it. The whole
was
"You are a
awesome.
dragon, be a dragon." Oh, I
Yeah.
love Dany.
Yeah, that
was
was
so
that was awesome.
But that leads me to another question.
Okay, go ahead. Then I got a point.
How the fuck did Grey Worm get up there before John
I
did?
said that
Yeah,
too.
he
I
was-
said, how did he
He's
get
slitting throats when John's walking off.
Not
He's slitting
necessarily.
throats.
You don't really know the actual from when he went there,
Yeah,
from what
the
John had
whole-
to go through until they got up to the thing.
Still,
You know,
yeah.
so yeah, but no, it was awful quick. You're right. But and then like okay, last episode, Arya gets on her horse and she's trotting through town, and then the first time we see Arya,
She's
right,
back in town.
Yeah, but she's where's her horse?
Sans
My
horse.
horse.
Yeah.
Where did
I think she
go?
wrote. I think she wrote out of the bad part of King's, not necessarily the bad part, but the very burning part.
like the back part. And
she
then just,
wrote out the back part and was trying to get back to
and then
Maybe
just got
she-
off the
John
horse.
and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
she jumped off when she saw everybody congregating, like,
Yeah,
oh, what
perhaps.
the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
They've mentioned a lot that there are parts that they're not going to cover because
What's the point?
what's the point?
But like
Game of Thrones time travel is weird.
So is
depending on
anybody
what's
thinking
going on.
like Arya when they saw her coming up and give her the eye like she was gonna like it's time to go?
I thought
Yep.
she was going to kill Dany there
Yeah.
for a second when
Yeah.
she was coming up behind the Dothraki and behind the Unsullied, and John was walking up the stairs, and then. Yeah, I really thought there for a second. They've been showing her shooting that bow and shooting that bow. I thought
Yeah.
she was going to take Dany out with a bow.
Yep.
So she gives her speech. Tyrion starts to talk. Tyrion tosses down the hand,
Yes,
and then all the
doing their
stomping
thing.
stops.
Yep.
And she looks at him. And she's like, you betrayed me. You let your brother go. Take him.
But before this,
And
when
he's-
she's given that speech,
Yeah.
I came to the realization that Dany doesn't care about ruling or being queen.
Yeah.
Dany cares about conquering.
Yeah.
Dany has realized that it's not the end game for her was not. This whole time she thought the end game was being on the Iron Throne and ruling the quote 7 kingdoms.
Yeah.
But she's come to realize through this journey that she doesn't care about that. She's now in it for the high of the conquering.
Yeah.
At least that's what I got from
she
it.
needs
Like
to liberate.
she needs to liberate it all and rule it all.
Yeah, and she wants to rule the world.
The world, not just Westeros. Essos
Yep.
too.
Everything.
And whatever's, as Arya said, whatever's west of Westeros.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I think that's when
Which
Tyrion
is
realizes
Westworld.
this isn't going to stop. She's never going to stop. And that's when, like you said, he throws his pen down and she starts the "you betrayed me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how cool was it that after she kind of passes John and goes on her way.
Yeah.
John's standing there, and all of a sudden he kind of looks over. There's Arya, just like just sneaky ass quiet bitch.
How ballsy is Tyrion though to walk up to her and be like, "The fuck, Dany."
Yeah.
You
Knowing
killed
that
more
Daenerys knew that-
people.
That he freed Jaime, like
Yeah.
walking to his death basically, and being the most man of anybody on the show,
Yeah.
owning up to his things, his actions. Yes, I let my brother go, but you burned a whole city down.
Yeah.
Fuck this, hand of the queen.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he
It was.
just.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, he had nothing else to lose at that point. He
Yeah,
was
he
by
didn't. He had-
himself as the last Lannister.
Yeah.
You know, his brother that he loved, probably the only person he ever loved in his life, really.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
Shay,
well,
but he
you know,
murdered Shay.
Exactly.
He had to. Well, actually, he probably loved his first wife, but
Tasha.
yeah.
They don't go into Tasha much in the show.
No.
She's just a mention.
But
Yep.
I think that was his breaking point. He's like,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She's gonna kill everybody. And,
The whole world.
You know, I can't stop her.
So then, yeah, they have their conversation, and she tells him to take him. And then, like you said, Arya's right behind John. And
Yeah.
seriously, I was like, what?
Yep.
What?
So I thought that was foreshadowing of like, yep, she's about to start
Yeah, me
killing
too.
all kinds of motherfuckers because she done pulled out the ninja moves.
And John tries to calm her fears and says, no, she's all of our queen now. And Arya says, no, I know a killer when I see one.
Yeah.
And tells John, she ain't done killing.
Yeah.
And that was like, yeah, she's going to kill bitches. She's a killer. I'm a killer. Sorry, John, but I got to go kill the love of your life and my step aunt or whatever she is. Yep. I thought for sure she was going to start taking needle out and just poking the hell out of everybody.
Just going crazy. So then it comes to
Tyrion. It comes to, John visiting Tyrion in his
cell.
Little cell.
His cell
or
thing.
Whatever, room.
Yep.
With no wine.
The
Poor
keep.
guy.
Did you bring the wine?
Yeah.
He's like, fucking, I'm going to die. Let me get drunk as hell.
Yeah. And, that conversation was just kind of a, no matter what John said, Tyrion just came back to, like, what you
have to
need to do.
Is it love over duty or duty over love?
Yeah.
Love is the death of duty.
Yeah.
And he rebuts with, some would say duty is the death of love. Wink, 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 wink.
Yeah. And then, realizing, when Tyrion says, that, will your sisters follow her? Will your sisters bend the knee?
Hell no.
And he's just like, oh, so they're dead already.
Yeah, John was ready to be like, peace out. I'm following her wherever we go. And then when Tyrion was like, Sansa and Arya's not going to agree with it, and she already told you that
whoever doesn't bend dies.
Yep. And I think that's when he was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I got to kill this lady.
Without explicitly saying to John, you have to kill her.
Yep.
He did the, total beat around the bush. You got to kill her, bruh.
Yep.
So
he little fingered that situation.
He basically was like, I have loved her too. I know that you love her, but look what she's done and look what she'll do.
Yep.
You have to end it. You have the choice of ending it.
So it came awful fast, it seemed.
It
but
did.
see, Tyrion, back to what we were talking about a while ago, Tyrion loved her as not just as queen, but loved her.
I think it was slightly more than just.
Because he said, I loved her too, but not as successfully as you.
Right.
And he was saying, like, you got the booty, I didn't get the booty. So you were more successful than me. Yep. That's what I got out of that. So,
but I think Tyrion was also saying, like, if anyone's going to get that close to her, it's going to be you.
Yeah.
If anyone has the opportunity to do what needs to be done, it's you and only you.
Yep.
No one else is going to get that close.
Right.
Not with a weapon, anyway.
Right. And so then he, she's in the throne room by herself, and she actually touches the throne, which was like,
I thought right before she touched it that he was going to call her name, and she wouldn't even get to touch it.
Yeah. But she touched it.
She did.
Hell.
Just the tip.
And she turned around, and it was like nothing, all the things that she had done that day didn't matter. She was just telling a story about being a young girl. Mm-hmm. Like, afterthought, I just murdered 20,000 people.
Yep.
Kind of like way back when her brother got gold melted over his head. She was just like, meh, hey, this is what happened.
He deserved that.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, so.
And she was like, I had to kill all these hundreds of thousands of people because it had to be done because they don't want to.
At this point in her mind, per their conversation, she thinks that's the way to liberate the world, is to end all these people who currently have the mindset of monarchy, and that's how it rules.
Yeah.
To vanquish them from the current situation, and the next generation will learn what it's like to not be with the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, she was.
But at the same time, though, fear and legend makes her the top of the wheel because this lady destroyed this whole kingdom.
But she's not looking at it that way.
I don't know if they expanded on it or not. Well, clearly they didn't expand on it, but I don't know if in Daenerys' mind she's going to liberate all of these people, and I don't know in her mind, is she going to rule them all, or is she going to liberate them all and let them do their own thing? Just like she did in Essos. She liberated all these people in Essos, but she's not in Essos ruling.
Right.
Right, but the legend of what she did will live forever.
Oh, well, yeah.
So, the legend of King's Landing is this crazy bitch with a dragon came in and genocided all of us, all of our ancestors, to make us free.
I just wonder, in her mind, does she think...
Oh, she thinks she did the right thing.
Well, I agree that she thinks she did the right thing. I just mean, in her mind, is she going to rule it all, or is she going to liberate these people and let them rule themselves? That's
so what do you think?
I don't know, because I don't know what Dany's endgame was. Was her endgame to just fly around on Drogon and have Jon Snow to be her lover, and her just
be vigilantes, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I really don't think that John really would have made it much longer, to be honest with you, simply because of the quote unquote better claim to the throne.
No, she would have ended Jon Snow eventually.
Yeah.
And I guess that really leads to she really wanted to rule them all because she doesn't want anyone to take it away from her.
Yep.
Which is why she was so afraid of having Jon tell anyone, Sansa and Arya included,
Yep.
of who he really was. And Tyrion mentioned that in their thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the last man to be executed, and you hold a better claim.
Yep. Yep. A lot to take in. So he gets snuggly with her, and she got a big old kiss, and then John puts it right through the heart. She didn't get another word out. She just looks at him in shock, and then goes down, and he lets her down.
Did y'all notice she did the classic Nissa
Yeah.
pose? The prince that
Yeah.
has promised his wife. She does any picture of Nissa is of her doing what Dany did. The whole full.
Over dramatic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
So
dying in a 20s
then comes
movie.
what I thought was the most heartbreaking part of the whole episode.
Yeah, as soon as she's dead, you hear the dragon off in the distance.
Screaming like,
And
what's
I've-
up with my mom?
Yeah, I thought he was gonna just fly away,
Yeah.
and then he lands and he starts crawling closer, and John kind of backs up, and he,
The nudging.
oh,
I cried.
I did too,
Yeah,
man.
that was like a damn it.
It's like when he's like her dog. I mean, he's just her
Yeah.
giant dog. And
Yeah.
I saw, the screenshots of like tiny Drogon on her shoulder to
Yeah.
giant Drogon nudging her. I
Yeah.
couldn't take it. It was too much.
Yep.
I mean,
And you saw in the the Knights battle when Jorah died that you knew he was all emotional, like, oh, my mom
It
feels
just-
bad.
yeah, it just.
Yep.
How much intelligence do they have?
Yeah.
That's the question I had. Like he doesn't burn Jon, even though he knows Jon killed her, but he burns the Iron Throne. Like, does he have the intelligence to know that this was all a conquest and it was just for this one chair? Thus, he burns it down.
Yeah.
I think so.
And the throne is gone. And-
Because I am about dogs. I think dogs know. They just can't communicate with us that they know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
her dragon knew, like, fuck, this stupid shit right here is why my mom's dead right now. So this is what she wanted, and it caused me personally to kill all these people
Yeah.
because my mom said I had to, and that sucks. I didn't want to do
I
that.
don't think I think he would have done it again if that's what she wanted.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
Yeah, he would have done
but-
whatever his
Yeah.
mom wanted.
Yeah, but that's what mom says,
But
you
I
know.
don't
so.
necessarily know that it was. He felt any kind of guilt or remorse for what he's burning. That's what he does.
Yeah.
It's that the throne is what she was after, and because of the throne, he lost her.
Yep.
And then he
so-
picks her up with one claw,
Yeah.
Yeah.
one back claw, and I literally was like, "Oh God!" when he was
Yeah.
picking her up and then flew away. I could have sworn that he was going to take her north or something, and she was going to be the new Night Queen.
Oh, that'd be cool.
No, that would have been.
I
A
thought
lot,
that-
a lot of good things that could have happened.
Yeah, I thought it was
But they
gonna
did
like
not.
at the very end of the episode. I thought it was gonna cut to him, to Drogon having her in the north, and like somehow, some way, his magic would bring her. I don't know.
Yeah.
the wood fairies or whatever.
Yeah, some dragon magic.
Team Danny over there.
I know. I
grasping at
love me
straw.
some Dany, y'all.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
It's hard for me to accept her death.
Nice shirt.
Team Targaryen forever.
Hey, you go, girl.
I mean, even in this bloodbath that was these last few episodes, I have to stay by my house. I can't
Yeah,
help
of
it.
course. And then it's like fast forward a couple of weeks.
Yeah, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Enough time for the
That
north
was-
to get to King's Landing.
That was months. That's my other question.
It takes, quote, 1 month to travel from Winterfell
Okay, 4 weeks.
to King's Landing.
Okay, but Jon's beard was fucking unruly and gnarly,
Well,
and Tyrion's beard was grown way the hell out.
Yeah, but you got to think too that
In a month's
they're
time,
not getting any showers or baths or anything. They're
laying in their
chained
own
up.
filth.
Yeah, exactly. So probably not exactly beard. Kemp is not
Okay.
exactly.
But see, what I'm saying is, like, how long did it take from when Jon killed Dany until somebody found out?
Somebody had to fly a raven.
Like, did he walk downstairs and be like, I killed her? That's
but we don't know.
Drogon's
Yeah, they're not going to
fault."
ever divulge that
So, yeah.
information. But they sent a raven, and then all the lords and ladies of Westeros came to King's Landing.
Yeah, so how long did that take?
Including
At least a
Robin,
month.
who has hit puberty.
Oh,
while
Robin
back.
Aaron. Want to talk about a glow up? What
Yeah.
up? What up, boo?
So that Giants
What
Bane's
you been
milk.
doing all these days?
Yeah, he was
Get all
definitely-
them nutrients.
He was like, yeah, for breastfeeding all his life. Yeah, he became a big boy.
Breastfeeding
handsome
till you're
boy.
14. I mean, hell.
It's you know why? It's all that titty milk.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
All that titty milk up till 8 years old.
Well,
Was
got all
that
them nutrients. He grew up strong.
Grew up strong till she went through the moon door.
Alrighty then.
And being bitch slapped by Sansa.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
So
there
there's
was
that.
a lot of people there.
Now, who was the dude that was sitting next to Samuel?
I'm not really sure.
They
wasn't
don't really
clear who that
divulge.
really was.
See, I was like, who the
But
fuck
there's
is
a
that
couple
guy?
other houses, including was it the Mormont?
Who took over for the Mormont?
We don't know. I don't know. Maybe that was that guy. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We don't know who. It
So
wasn't even
is
like
this-
we knew the one guy was from Dorne because
The
of
guy
his
from
dress,
Dorne.
but we don't know him. We didn't. we never-
Yara,
right?
the
The Veil.
the
guy.
Veil, clearly Winterfell.
Yeah.
Sam, which is Tarly, and then Edmure of the River Run and some other people, but
And Davos, who wasn't
Nothing
sure that
was-
he had a,
So yeah.
a voter.
So that Edmure standing up, trying to make his little. Oh God, that was a sit down.
Uncle, please sit down. And he like looks at her and she's like, she like does her eyebrows
Yeah.
and nods like, yeah, sit down.
And then he hits.
He
the
gets
sword
flustered.
on
His
Oh.
sword hits the pole. It's like,
the-
damn
Yeah,
it.
that was the guy that couldn't shoot the flame to his dad's death yacht.
Yep.
Kept missing.
The Viking funeral.
Yep.
So Sam
Created
nominates
democracy.
democracy. Let's let the Lord and Ladies of Westeros decide who rules them, and everybody's like, just sit down, bruh.
Hell no. Fuck the peasants.
Not gonna happen.
And then Tyrion literally, nominates the exact same thing, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that sounds great, yeah.
Well, he says it's the lords should decide.
The lords who oversee like it's the
Right.
electoral college, basically.
Right.
See, and that's where more questions come in. How the fuck does Grey Worm have any fucking say over what the hell's about to happen?
He
Well-
owns he rules the Unsullied. He
Yeah,
has
he's
an
got a
army.
huge army right there in front of their face.
Any Unsullied will do what he says.
Yeah.
But was his army bigger than everybody else, though?
At the current moment
Yeah.
of
Is
them
it?
in the dragon pit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why they went along with what he said.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because he was like, we don't want payment, we want justice.
Right.
And then Tyrion is,
So there's no way they were going to make Jon king because that would not have been justice in his eyes.
right.
No.
And then
And-
Tyrion should have died, which was weird. Like, why didn't he just go up and slice his throat like he did with the soldiers on the street?
Right. Well, I mean, at that point, he was.
Because Dany didn't do that in front of everyone on the stairs. That's why. She took him aside.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Dany had wanted him dead in that moment, she just slit,
Yeah.
she or someone else would have slit his throat right there.
Yeah.
But they decide they want democracy, and for whatever reason, I guess because Tyrion and Bran had conversations in Winterfell that we didn't hear. No one else wanted to hear Bran's story or talk about Bran's story except for Tyrion.
Right.
That makes sense.
So, and Bran had apparently some really good stories.
He said, I see me as being king, and I'm going to keep you alive no matter what happens. So just don't tell nobody this is what I saw, and I'm making all this other bad shit happen because I want to be king.
Maybe.
Because that motherfucker did say, why do you think I came all this way?
So I saw a thing about this, about how there are people that think Bran is the true evil because he let all the people in King's Landing die. He knew that Dany would die. He knew that Dany would burn these people. He knew X and X and X, and that he let all of this stuff happen. And my immediate response to the person that sent this to me was, Bran is not evil. Bran didn't do these things
Right.
knowing that people would die. If Bran knew all of this, the reasons he would have done this is knowing that this would have broken the monarchy wheel, the quote Daenerys wheel,
Yeah.
and this would have brought about democracy to Westeros.
Yeah.
That this would be the reason that people would have a say in who rules them, and it wouldn't be like Tyrion said, the sons of kings who are evil and
Right.
cruel and etc. etc.
Well, and he didn't really. I mean, even if he knew, how could he stop it? I mean, he's just a crippled
pawn.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he may be able to see in the past, but I don't know how much he can see in the future.
Yeah. Because they've never really shown him see into the future. They've only shown
They
him
have.
see the past.
Yeah, because the
When did he see
shadow
it?
They
of
showed him
Drogon
seeing-
flying over
Oh, yeah.
King's
Yeah.
Landing.
I think his snippets of the future are just that.
Snippets.
And that's it. I don't think he can see the full layout of how it happens like he can with the past. I think he uses the past as a tool to see how those things don't need to happen in the future, which is why they focus so much on his visions in the past about the night or about the Mad King,
Yeah.
about burning them all and how crazy monarchs can be.
Yeah.
And that's the reason it pushed him to do these things towards democracy.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because if you're going to be voted in, you have to truly want it for the people. Whereas sons of kings don't necessarily want it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jon. He would have been a great ruler, but he doesn't want it. You have
Right.
to want to rule people and do the greater good. I mean, clearly people have been corrupted. Look at our current situation. However, in this fictional world, if you want to rule the people, the only thing you're going to gain out of it is helping people and fucking some hordes.
Yeah.
So,
Well. So.
Fucking Alabama.
and Sansa being like, Bran's dick don't work.
And that's so sweet, Sansa. You're the best. Thanks for sharing. But yeah, like and they're really like to appease Grey Worm. They're like, we'll make him take the black, and he can't. There is no
What's the point of the Night's Watch at
there
this
is no
point?
Night's Watch anymore, and that's one of the reasons why I think they did that was because they wanted to at least they give him a life,
Yeah.
send him there.
He went to live past the wall. Jon
yeah.
went to live
I
past the
think
wall with the
they
wildlings.
knew, yeah. I think Sansa and them
That's
knew that
exactly
there's
what
no
he did.
Night's
Yeah.
Watch, and then he would just go. I think they figured he would get there and realize no one's there and just continue to go north of the wall.
That's why he paused
and
at the end.
eventually find them. But when Cool Ass Tormund was there, you're like, oh, he waited.
Yeah. So several people I talked to were like, I wish he had said, and you maybe you said this. I wish he had. Maybe, I can't remember who said it, but I wish Tormund at least had said one thing like, how was the big lady or something like that.
Is
But
the
it
big
would have been
woman
too
still
funny.
there?
But God, it would have been hilarious. if
God,
he
I
had
should
said
have.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, speaking of the big lady and Brienne, her filling in Jaime's.
yes.
That was heartbreaking.
But it was
With honor. Like,
with honor,
she
yeah.
didn't, like, burn him, saying, like, he was a piece of shit. Fuck him.
So, for a split second, while she's filling all of this out, I really, for half a second, was like, oh my God, is she pregnant with Jaime's baby?
oh wow.
Oh.
And that she would be like, and fathered a child with Brienne of Tarth. But clearly she didn't. And then on top of that, my friend was watching it with me, and she was like, she better fucking write died protecting his queen. And that's literally the exact verbatim what she wrote at the end. Died protecting his queen.
Yep.
Jaime's arc was not what I expected.
Yeah.
But he's
He's-
much as he's a dick, he's still a
still
good
redeemed
man.
himself, yeah.
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 And Brienne knew that, which is why she wrote those good things about him. Even though he was an asshole occasionally, he was still a good man.
Yep.
And he couldn't help that he was in love with his sister, who was a terrible woman. He himself was still a good man.
Yep. So we had the board.
Yes.
We thought this was going to be pretty much a bloodbath. I did anyway. when
I did as
first
well.
Made it. But
Yeah.
it ended up being about half, I guess, a little more than half. So, and then of course, Bran is now the king.
Bran
Because
on
for
the
some
throne.
random reason, Tyrion was like, I vote for Bran, even though I supported Daenerys and then I supported Jon. And why
Well,
didn't they
he
just
knows
be
Bran
like,
has no allegiances, that Bran is not out for
Yeah.
monetary gain. He's listened to Bran, and he knows he's a three-eyed raven and how he's something, quote, something more.
Yep.
And
And he
that's-
knows he's not in it for glory. He's in it to just be good.
And I really
That's true.
loved the council, the small council.
Oh, I loved it too.
That was their only little bit of touches of humor.
Davos from becoming an illiterate man to correcting Braun on his grammar
Yep.
is one of the best character developments
Yes.
in the entire show.
Yeah.
because he couldn't read to the little girl, right?
Right. She taught
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Shireen taught him how to do it.
That's Shireen, yep.
So Shireen lives on in Davos's grammar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which was awesome.
It was adorable. But
And,
Braun, Master of Coin,
Oh, so funny. And then, of course, he's like, no, we're going to need some brothels.
and Brienne's like, I think ships are more important than brothels.
Not necessarily.
Sam in his Grand Maester robes. Oh my God.
Yep.
That was adorable.
Yeah. And, of course, the book, they had to throw it in there, the Song of Ice and Fire, which was cool. I thought
And
it
that
was-
he mentioned I had him write it, and everybody had this whole theory this whole time that Sam was narrating the whole show.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
But that made me almost think that Tyrion narrated the whole show, because it was kind of a dig that they didn't. Samuel said that, oh, you're not mentioned in
There's
the
no
book.
mention of you. And Braun's over there laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you think about it, Tyrion was always in the show. He was almost in every major plot line
point.
through the whole damn series.
Yeah, that's true.
Won an Emmy or two.
You know, so was he really the main character of the show? And it was told through his eyes of
The
everything
Starks
he
were the
saw.
main character.
Yeah, definitely the Starks
It
for
was the
sure.
Starks.
Because they focused at the last few scenes were focused on the
On the
Starks.
Starks. Because that's where it really started.
And I said at the point where they started showing their different arcs carrying off into postseason or post-show even,
Yeah.
I said, could they have chosen a better group of children to have done this show? I
Right.
mean, they all ended up fulfilling their roles in such great capacity. Arya being this badass ninja warrior killer, Sansa being this amazing, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know. Just this elegant queen. Jon being the fucked over bastard his whole life. Just all of it, all three of them, and Bran included. Just they all did such a great job.
Sansa just took all these pieces from everyone.
Everyone and
You know, like
blended into this
Cersei
great
was
character.
a fucking cunt, but at points she knew
But
how
she-
to lead people.
She chose that thread out
Yeah.
of her tapestry and she wove it into her own tapestry of grand,
Yep.
just absolute grandness.
Took the stuff she learned from Littlefinger.
Yeah, she took stuff
Mm-hmm.
from Cersei, from Littlefinger, from Jon, from Theon, from
And even from Ramses.
yep.
Yeah, she did. And I think that's why she's like, hey, even though you're my bro, I'm still going to be independent and just kind of do my own thing up here.
But Sansa has always been for the North. She's even mentioned, like,
Yeah.
what about the North? To Daenerys, to Jon, to everyone. She said, I'm not leaving my people. She's been about and for the North for seasons now.
Queen of the North.
Queen, oh, that was great. I
Yeah.
teared up. I teared up.
I think that's why she just didn't even want to be associated, basically, with
Well, I mean, she
the
told...
Seven Kingdoms. So she's like, hey, you guys do your thing. We're going to do our thing. We're not going to agree with how you run things, but we'll still be your ally if you need us.
She
Yep.
turned to Bran and she said, I think you'll be a great king.
Yeah.
But the North will not kneel. I have too many of my people that have said we've fought too much and will not kneel, and we won't be part of this.
Yep.
Which I think takes balls.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Bran's just like, uh-huh, okay.
Yep.
Which was fine. So on a complete side note for a second,
Yeah.
Sophie Turner's Instagram, this was weeks and weeks and weeks ago, but
Right.
this was like right before the season came out. She was at a club with Joe Jonas, and the whole club realized that Sophie Turner was there. And there's an Instagram video of her standing up on stage, like 10 feet above these people, and the whole club has like their shirts off and like run them around, and they're all chanting, "The Queen in the North! The Queen in the North!"
Dude, that's
It was so awesome, and I didn't think
yeah.
anything of it at the time, but now knowing, I'm like, I bet that was so crazy for her
Yeah,
to
yeah.
know that she's gonna be the Queen in the North, and there's all these people who aren't even on the show being like, "The Queen in the North." I bet it was
so much
awesome.
fun
Yeah.
radio. That sounds awesome.
It was great. So Arya's going off to west
Somewhere.
of Westeros.
Which is Westworld.
Mm-hmm. Westworld.
They should. There was a rumor that they asked George if they could put Game of Thrones in a thing of Westworld, but it didn't end up happening. It would have been awesome, but
It did set it up for if these prequels fail 5 years from now, if they're ready for a sequel.
if they're
it
gonna
could
do a
be
sequel,
Ariel.
I was gonna say it better be Arya going to West.
You know,
the West.
because it's so open to anything at that point.
Anything.
Yeah.
You know, she can discover new people, new magics, you know, all these things.
New dragons. Who knows?
Yeah. And then, you know, have the occasional cameo from Sansa and, you know, Jon. And,
Or whoever.
yeah.
I doubt they'll be able to get those characters back though.
Right.
And I think that's why they ended up rushing this season so much, is that they're at the point where they had to pay so many people so much money.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, we have to finish this now because we
Yeah.
can't afford to drag it
Well,
drag it out.
They wanted to do another season, but the money and the demands and the schedules of all the actors
Yeah.
were like, you got to pay us tons of money, and we're not necessarily be able to do all the. So they were like, let's just finish it up.
Let's
And
do
that-
it.
and
Let's
that
end
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah, just that, and that
It
sucked
seemed
because
rushed, but I think they covered pretty much everything. And
Yeah.
thank God they got the ghost hug in.
Yes.
That
Redemption.
saved
Redemption
Jon
for Jon
Snow.
Snow.
Yeah.
That's what I told David. I was like, I no longer hate Jon Snow.
Rip your license plate off now.
I
Told
know.
him I was going to start vandalizing his license
When he
plate.
did the whole shaggy, you know, rubbed his face and whatever, I was like, episode redeemed.
Yep.
Episode's been redeemed for
I was
me.
like, John's cool now. I love him again.
He whimpered. See, I watch everything with subtitles on because
Oh, that's cool.
I have a fish tank next to me and I can't hear over the bubbles and whatnot. And there's a bunch of people watching who can't necessarily hear as well as me. So Ghost whines and it takes a good 30 seconds before it pans over to him. But the subtitles say Ghost whines.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, it's Ghost. They're about to do he's about to pet him. And he did. And it was
Yep,
fantastic.
that was so good.
And
I
he
was
was
like,
out there
all right.
walking with him too.
Yeah,
at the
past
end.
the wall. So, and I kept saying, you know, what's the point of walking past the wall? The wall's down, but I guess that's
They're
couple
going.
couple miles away to Eastwatch where it's actually down. So,
And they'll. I think
They're
he's-
going back to be free.
yeah.
I don't think John's gonna come back. I think he's gonna
No, I
live.
think I think he's. Yeah, I think he's.
I think he's out with the wildlings, and that's
he
it.
He wanted no responsibility. He got
just wants
no
to live
stress anymore. You know, he's just out there hunting and eating and drinking. And him and Tormund are talking about
Tormund's his
giant
good buddy, yeah.
boobies and
Find him another hot chick in a cave.
That's what somebody said when we were watching it. It was like, I wish John could return to that cave and be sweet, innocent little baby Jon Snow again.
Yep.
Yeah.
How crazy is it for Kit Harington though? Like, he met the love of his life on this show, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy as
it's
hell.
insane to me.
That's awesome though.
Did you see the Saturday Night Live that he hosted a couple weeks ago?
And Amelia was like, in the scene where we have sex, like, I guess we should. I don't remember
Do
exactly.
you know they were recording it?
Yeah.
It was so good because it was Samwell and her, and then Egret was there. She's
yeah.
like, "So, do you think you'll be growing the beard back soon?" Because he was all freshly shaven and shit. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just an insane ride. This whole show. Like, I know that some people were really disappointed and mad about things that happened in this season, but you can't take away from this has been a pop culture phenomenon for so many years, and
been
it
an
is
amazing
amassed
show.
such a fan base, and it's
Yeah. I mean, there's
People
a lot
are
of people.
just-
Go ahead.
People are just so used to happy endings.
Yeah.
And you kind of got one with Game of Thrones, but at the same time you didn't.
you didn't
because
the bittersweet.
yeah, everybody thought John was going to be king, and then you know everything was going to end up good. But you know, in their minds, he wound up alone and separated from his family.
But that's what John.
But at the same time,
That's
that's,
what
what
John
he
knows he
wanted.
wants.
He's like, I don't like politics. I don't want to be involved in
I
this
don't
shit.
want it.
The free people, they're just mellow. They party all the time. They eat frozen mushrooms and hallucinate about giants, and that's what I
Suck
want
on
to do.
giant titties.
You know, so you know, to
Well, he's a Stark and he's not a Stark, and he now technically is the last Targaryen.
Yep.
yeah.
So
Okay. Well, it's done.
The end.
Over with.
I'm happy with how it turned out.
Me too.
I couldn't, you know, I wanted Dany to be this great, just, merciful ruler, but she ended up not being, and I'm okay with Bran ending up on the throne, and it's not necessarily a throne anymore either. I noticed he didn't have a crown on at all,
Right.
which was nice, I thought.
It's kind of fitting because he was almost like the most innocent person in the series
Yeah.
in the beginning because he just happened to climb up the tower and try to get into the window, and then
Peeping Tom.
the things people do for love, Jamie shoves them out. And He hits the
Oops.
ground and
Oh man.
What
all
a
of a
show,
sudden-
though.
Yeah. It was.
What a show.
I'm
Was
gonna
it-
continue to watch it.
No
over and
joke.
Over again.
This
9
show,
years.
9 years,
10,
something like
yeah.
that. And in all honesty, and I don't think I'm the only one, this show changed my life. Like,
Yeah.
I know that's insane to say about a TV show because there's only like 1 or 2 other shows that have done that for me, but it changed my view on things. Like, Daenerys made me realize that women can be a strong force in the world.
Definitely.
Arya, Jamie with his ability to change his character, like you don't have to stay the same person. Just so many different aspects of the show have changed me as a person, and I'm grateful for that. Whether it turned out the way I wanted it to or not, I'll never not be grateful for this show and the things that it's done to further me in my life.
And all the political undertones that they
Yeah.
kind of slipped in here and there.
Totally.
Made you think about a lot of things.
The funny parts, the magic parts, the characters themselves, just so many aspects of the show are so amazing. And just because the ending wasn't what I wanted, isn't going to take away from that.
And the amazing actors that they got
So
throughout
amazing.
the whole series. I mean, literally.
Except for Ed Sheeran. No, I'm joking.
But for
Hear
his
that,
little part
Ed?
that he did, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ed's a
But,
subscriber. You pissed him off.
But the, it started off with what everybody thought was going to be, Sean Bean as
The main
the
character.
main character, and then like season 1, you're like,
They can't
Whoa,
kill him
what?
off. He's the main
Like,
character.
that's the
happened?
main dude. He just got his head lopped off. What the
Yep,
fuck's
he is
going on
such
with
a
this show?
great actor.
He's
such a
real good.
To me, it's one of his better roles that he's ever done.
Yeah.
And it really, he's gone on to a lot of other things, and he's been in hundreds of movies.
Yeah,
he's
tons
died
of
a
them.
lot, but man, he's good, and it was so many other great actors. A lot of them I don't remember their names, the actual actors' names, like the lady who played Catelyn Stark.
Oh, great. She's fantastic.
And I really don't remember ever seeing her in anything before that. But
Harry
man,
Potter. For like
Well,
2 seconds.
Yeah, but she was so good.
Yeah.
And same way with the guy who played Rob Stark.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Oh my God, the actor, and then some of the, great actors. Like the Third Eye Raven,
Yeah. The Three-Eyed Raven.
Three-eyed Raven, third eye, 3-eyed, whatever, one-eyed,
One-eyed
Purple
people.
Peter.
Peter, Peter.
But but the actor, I can't think of his name either. Oh my God, he was in.
He was in King Arthur, wasn't he? Or am I? No, I'm wrong.
He was in. He played Emperor Ming in
Flash Gordon.
My God, what is his name?
I don't know.
He was also in Star Wars. I don't know. Anyway, but you know what I mean. Good actor.
That guy.
So good that I don't remember his name.
Well, that's another reason why the show is so great, because in season 1 they set up all these adult characters, and you're like, yeah, these are the main characters. I can't wait to see what happens. No, bruh, they're not the main characters. These are the characters setting up the actual story about these kids who are going to mature and grow and change and become, and all these other things that you're not even ready for.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's one of the great things that I liked about this series, because I didn't read the books.
Yep.
I didn't know anything about the books until
Yeah.
the show came on.
Yeah.
And I didn't start until the 2nd season. David has actually got me into it. So
My fault.
it took me 2 seasons to get into it, and then I was hooked. I was like, cool,
Yeah.
I like this. And that's just like with Lord of the Rings. I didn't know anything about Lord of the Rings, so when the movies came out, I was like, wow, how did I never read these books? Whether the movies matched up to the books or not, I don't
Right.
know. And then, of course, because Christopher Lee was in it, that got me hooked. So,
Yeah.
I sat through movies about to pee myself because I didn't know when his character was going to show up because I wasn't familiar with the books.
Right.
Right.
So there were parts where I was just like, I got to pee so bad. I don't know when he's going to show up. And that's what I liked about Game of Thrones, because when I read all these comments, people were like, that's not what happened in the book. That's not what happened in the book. And I was like, I don't know the books. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but it was still compelling TV. Like, I was hooked.
Well, you have show watchers, you have book readers, and you
Yeah.
have people who do both.
Both, which is me.
Sort of me. I've read 1 and 2, but I can't. It's too dry for me.
Again, like The Walking Dead, I
do
didn't read
audiobooks.
those comics. But on the other hand, I understand people who are fans of the source material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I can't get into Marvel movies. because I was fans of all that source material.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, and it's so
Well-
different that I've tried, and I'm like, yeah, cool, it's a cool movie, but my brain is just picking out all the things that
wrong.
were wrong,
I'm
and
sure-
I can't enjoy them.
Can you imagine how George must feel? Like,
Oh.
who knows if this is even how he wants it to
He
end
was
up, or who
probably
he wants on the throne, or who
fucking-
he wants to die, or whatever, or how he wants Daenerys and Jon's arcs to end.
Yeah.
Regardless of all that, this is how. I forget their names. David and
Dan and Dave.
Dan and Dave. This is
Yeah.
how Dan and Dave
Benioff
decided
and
that they
Weiss.
wanted it to end, and it was amazing.
Yep, it was.
I mean, obviously, because, I mean, one of the highest ever viewed television shows
Oh,
in
yeah.
history.
Yep.
So they definitely
Or
did it
even
right.
Nominations in any other program in history.
Yeah.
For all
And
the
it's still got
internet
another
haters, yeah.
season of Emmys that it's going to be for this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for all the internet haters that said it sucked, it obviously didn't suck. If
Yeah.
it sucked, it would have been canceled
The
after
only
2
thing that
seasons.
sucked was that it didn't end the way that you wanted
That
it.
you
Exactly.
wanted it,
Other
and the
than that-
slight rush. That was the only
Yeah.
two things that were a takeaway from this
Oh,
past
it was
two seasons.
a pop culture icon. It's going to be
is.
talked
Oh, yeah.
about for generations.
This is a
Yeah.
generational series.
And
This
it's-
isn't going to end now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
it's the same thing with Vanilla Ice. Growing up in that time period, no,
What?
seriously, growing up in the time period when Vanilla Ice was so huge, 5 years later after he lost his fame, everybody was like, I didn't like him. I'm like, somebody fucking liked him
Yeah.
because he went multi-platinum.
Yep.
So either a whole bunch of you motherfuckers are lying, or
I think this
It
is on a
really
slight
happened.
grander scale than
All right.
Vanilla
Well, we're
Ice.
going to have to wrap this up because we're going to have to go because we're at our time.
what time?
It's time to go.
Fuck that shit. It's the end.
I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm an old lady.
You slept
We
until like an
do.
hour ago.
We do have the possibility of there's definitely going to be another, not episode, but another
Behind the scenes.
special that they're doing, a documentary that appears on HBO next week, and we'll watch it, and if it's worthy of a video, we'll make one. If not, thank you all very much for joining us this whole season for Game of Thrones.
And go
for
to our
everybody.
website, outbreakpodcast.com. Tell us how much you loved it. Pick out another show for us to watch in the next year. We'll
Yeah.
all get together. We'll bullshit about that
I
show.
know we'll be doing some live podcast when they come to the Last Airbender on Netflix.
oh
Yeah, see?
shit!
So-
That's my jam.
These guys will probably be talking about that. So
Oh, yeah.
start
We
sending
should
in
just
what you
do a
want to talk
podcast
about.
where we watch the whole first and then watch Korra.
Well,
Let's do it.
see, whatever that is, they're all about it, so it must be good. And if you like us, just help us out. Instead of eating some fries, throw us $1. We got a Patreon account. I think it's floating
It's
up
true.
here.
It's right up there.
Right,
Hit
right,
that Patreon
right
button.
there,
Yeah.
Patreon.
And right over there, right
And
above Deandra.
over there,
That's the
there's
website
a
right there.
Nope,
there's a
this way.
website right there.
Outbreakpodcast.com, Yep.
Yep. And just everybody give David $1 and I love you because my wife and I got to go on a crazy ass adventure this last weekend. Slayer shirt.
Thanks
No,
for joining
don't,
us on
nope.
this episode.
He got us tickets. We went to see
Bye.
Slayer. It was awesome. David's the man. We love him. Good
See
night,
you
you guys.
guys.
Tell him you love him.
Thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
Love you
Bye.
guys. See ya.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Escape Pod. If you enjoyed it, please like the episode and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you would like to be a part of future podcasts, then email us at outbreakpodcast@gmail.com. And be sure to visit our website, outbreakpodcast.com, for more episodes, show notes, photos, and other podcasts on the Outbreak Podcasting Network. That's outbreakpodcast.com.